we've gathered here today to talk about the end. The end of Gossip Girl. Hey guys, what's up? It's imuRgency and welcome back to my channel. Today, we are back and we're talking about the end of Gossip Girl, the reboot. If you weren't aware, season 2 of Gossip Girl just ended, and with this season finale, it's also doubling as the series finale because the show, unfortunately, did get canceled. I know, shocking. Usually with shows of this caliber, even if they are widely hated, still seem to get season after season after season. But no, Gossip Girl is no more. And in this video, we're gonna talk about why it got canceled, as well as talking about the potential for it to be saved and get an actual season 3. And then we'll talk about the final episode, the finale, because it was actually a good one. Maybe we'll go down memory lane and reminisce a little bit along the way. Because while I may be making jokes, I may be laughing and smiling, I am quite sad that the show is over because I did enjoy it a lot. I did. But before we get into any of that, if you are new to the channel, definitely hit that subscribe button because we are inching closer and closer to 200K. And I'd love to have you part of our little gang that we have going on here before we hit 200K. Also, while you're at it, you can check out my socials at imuRgency. That is Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And don't forget, if you haven't already, to leave a like on this video because it helps out so much with the YouTube algorithm. So I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you. But let's talk about Gossip Girl. So as we all know, the Gossip Girl reboot has had some mixed reviews. Some people really liking it, some people really not because of how different it is from the original Gigi, the acting, among other things. And then a lot of people were somewhere in the middle, and that's where I fall in. Where I actually never really saw the original Gossip Girl, so I was going in blind. And I can appreciate the fashion, the glitz, the glam, and the general storyline, as well as the characters of this new Gossip Girl. But unfortunately, this Gossip Girl reboot has been canceled ahead of its season finale episode and ahead of its season 3, which was really wild to hear because I feel like usually when it comes to show cancellations, you find that out after the final episode airs. But like this news broke literally on last week's episode, like the week before the finale. So like it was giving premeditated take beat, you know? An article from the Rolling Stone says, while the first season generated the best ratings for a TV show for the streaming service up to that point and quickly garnered a second season renewal, Gossip Girl ultimately didn't live up to the lofty expectations of both critics and fans of the original series. And I agree. I talked about this on the pre-show live stream that I did for this season finale. But I feel like with season 1, it was almost impossible to escape the Gossip Girl promo. Like you'd see posters everywhere. There were ads on social media, literally everywhere. I remember like scrolling on my feed on Instagram and just seeing ads, you know, like that ad that they had for season 1 of like all of them on the phones in black and white. And they're on those dramatic poses of like, you know, those, like I couldn't escape those. And that really drove me to want to watch the new Gossip Girl just because I see it everywhere. But for season 2, it was pretty much crickets. Like the way that I heard that season 2 was coming out was from a story repost like a week before the show was going to air. And that was pretty much all I heard from it. And I know that the rollout must have been really lacking because on TikTok, I do these series where I react to different scenes from the shows that I review on here. And when it came to the Gossip Girl scenes, most people in the comments were like, wait, is this a new one? Is this a new season? A new season came out? Like the girls were confused. And for a show that had as big a budget as Gossip Girl, and had such a popular season 1, you'd think that there'd be more done to promote for season 2. Of course, I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but I'm kind of led to believe that they might have just thought that like they're gonna ride off the popularity and the memes from the actual content from the season to do like its own promotion. But I feel like if you don't promote it in the first place and people don't know about it, that it's not gonna get as much traction as it would if you actually did the traditional promoting in the first place to get those people to actually review it and make it even bigger. And I'm genuinely sad that this show has come to an end because I feel like season 2 was leading up to be a better season than season 1. And before you fight me on that, yes, I know. Season 1 was wild. It was wild, but that's why I liked it. I liked it because it was all over the place. It made no sense. It was camp. It was camp. This season for season 2, they had a much bigger budget and they went all out with just the flashiness, the excess of wealth. Like they really did their big one for this. In this season, they licensed not only Unholy, which has been a top song for like the past couple of months, but they also licensed Summer Renaissance by Beyonce. Like their budget was big. They were spending big. But I feel like plot-wise, this season kind of fell through. It was really interesting and it gave a lot of characters development, which I really appreciated, but I kind of feel like it was a little repetitive, at least in a storytelling standpoint. Like I feel like for most of the episodes, it was just a bunch of build up or just really low key energy, and there would always be this big blowout at the end, and it got kind of predictable at a certain point. Not predictable as in the sense like you can tell like what the big thing that was going to blow up at the end was going to be, but that you knew that something big was going to blow up at the end, if that makes sense. And I feel like it was kind of like that for season 1, but having it be the first season, you don't really predict that to happen. Like it's not as in your face because it's the first time you're actually seeing this, or at least was the first time that I was actually seeing this kind of storytelling format. But with season 2, I kind of knew what I was getting into, and each episode was like, all right, like that was crazy and messy, but like, you know, this is getting kind of repetitive. But I really, 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 really love to see more of Monet and Luna this season. They're my girls, through and through. They carried season 2 and you cannot tell me otherwise. And I'm so sad that we don't get to see them in those roles anymore. But I know for sure that Miss Savannah and Miss Zion are going to keep a job. They are going to keep a check. They are working and I love them for it. I'm the biggest fan of them both. I love their work. I love them as people. And tens around the board. But before we get into the actual full season review, let's take a second to talk about whether the show has a chance of actually being revived. According to the showrunner, Joshua Safran, there have been talks about moving the show to other networks or streaming services in order for it to stay live for a season 3, but unfortunately even the showrunner finds this kind of unlikely. In a quote from an Instagram post, he states that we are currently looking for another home, but in this climate that might prove an uphill battle, and so if this is the end, at least we went out on the highest of highs, which is really sad and discouraging to hear, but I feel like is a valid take. And I think that one of the main reasons why it's going to be hard for the show to find another home is that this show is expensive. Like, Gigi is no cheap girl. The excessive show of wealth is like one of the main factors that really gets people watching. Like, we're talking about a show that dresses its extras in head-to-toe designer. And not every platform can afford that, especially in the current streaming climate, with other even less expensive shows getting canceled left and right. Not to mention that, like, societally, there's a lot going on in like the streaming and just employment market, with different streaming services incorporating different practices to make more money. So unfortunately, unless there's like a miracle that happens and like Netflix or something decides to shell out a ton of money to buy and fund Gossip Girl, this looks like it's going to be the end. But before we actually say goodbye, let's talk about this final episode. And from here on out, we have a spoiler warning, so if you have not seen the season 2 finale or you don't plan on doing that, here's your warning. This episode was wild. Arguably, in my opinion, the best episode of this season. Maybe even the best episode of the series. Like, there was just so much that happened in this hour of an episode, and streams were saying that 30 minutes of it were cut to make more sense as a series finale rather than a season finale. Because initially I heard that the episode was going to be a little bit under an hour and a half and it was going to set up more for season 3 with the introduction of more characters. But once they got word that the show was getting canceled, they cut a bunch of stuff to make more sense and more of like a hard stop for the series. And even then it was wild. Like, we got a whole Met Gala moment. We had cameos from people like Andy Cohen, Lucas Gage, Olivia Wilde, Jonathan from the OG Gossip Girl. We had twists, turns, exposés, breakups, and then at the end they just threw in like a vacation to Rome. Like, please. But let's start off slow. The Met Gala. That whole portion of the episode really just ate for me because this was the first time that we got to see the Gossip Girl crew all act as one big friend group, and it was so nice to see that because honestly, since the show started, there hasn't been a moment where they've all worked together and they've all at least pretended to like each other. Like, there's always been some kind of beef, there's always been something going on, so it was really nice to see them all come together like that. Even after it got exposed that Obi was a snake and working with Gossip Girl, and just seeing so many people go down that we've been rooting for to go down, like seeing Heidi seemingly go down, seeing Obi's mom go down, as well as all their deepest secrets just get aired out to the public, like that was really nice. And that's not even mentioning the outfits, like everybody ate down. Like, this is already a beautiful cast. Like, you cannot deny that these are not pretty people. Like, just look at them. Look at the material. And seeing them all done up, like, it was really giving full Met Gala behavior, no hall baddie. Like, some standouts were Luna's dress. Like, Luna's always gonna eat, but Luna's dress in this with the wet hair look, yeah, she ate down. Zoya's I Am Gossip Girl look, that dress, the makeup and the hair, oh! She devoured. She honestly devoured. And Aki's pink fit really ate, but it was really funny just to see Evan Mock in this situation because he's previously been in the actual Met Gala, and just seeing the difference between his actor's Met Gala outfit and his character's Met Gala outfit, it's funny to me. And of course, Monet's look was going to eat. It was giving me like Nicki Minaj when she was wearing that black dress. And I thought that was really cool. And then also, maybe this is just me, but I never actually really understood what went on once you actually went into the Met Gala. But the fact that they're just all walking around in the gallery, like, it never actually clicked that they're literally just walking around the museum and just socializing and stuff. And I was just like, oh wow, that's an interesting event. It doesn't just like stop at the red carpet. But I love that, and I love that whole moment. But let's talk about the throuple. Let's talk about the throuple. Because if you have not seen, I recently put out a video talking about the rise of throuples in Gen Z media. And this throuple in Gossip Girl between Aki, Max, and Audrey was one of the main ones that I talked about. And I kind of felt like they were going to break up. And the way that they broke up was just really sad and kind of gross. And the fact that it just kind of showed and validated that Max was only ever really an addition to their relationship. He was never really a full part of it. Because Max made a good point. Like, in the throuple, they made an agreement that it was going to be all for all or none for none, meaning that if they broke up, they all broke up. But really, Aki and Audrey would rather stay with each other than actually break up, which says a lot, you know? I mean, I kind of wish that they all broke up, because if this show did get a season 3, I would have wanted to see their development independently. But I guess since this is the end, I guess that'll work. And I think one of the biggest reveals for this episode was that Gigi got exposed for who she really is. Kate, the teacher, she finally got what was coming to her. And I have to say that the way that happened was just so funny to me. Like, it was so unserious, but also so satisfying. Like, the fact that like nothing else was going to get her to reveal her identity, but the second that she saw that she could make a little bit of coin, she was like, wait, woke up out of her sleep. And she gets all dolled up, races out the door, all for what? Just to get put in the clink? Like, locked up. Literally. And it was just funny how quick she was with it, like how much she wanted that deal, and then got arrested for it, and then got called out for it, and then everyone coming out and asking her like, why would you do this? And her trying to explain herself. Yeah, that was good. Like, homegirl was really trying to have her Anna Delvey moment, and it just was not coming for her. Like, well, I guess it is because she's getting locked up in the clink. But let's talk about the very ending. Like, let's talk about the part from Rome onwards. I feel like this version of the ending was very happy, but also incredibly sad at the same time. At least for me, knowing that like there's nothing after this. But I feel like for this ending specifically, you can really tell that like 30 minutes were cut out. Like, the ominous presence of Luna on every single billboard and them talking about Luna. Oh, I forgot to talk about this, but like Luna having her full moment. Like, the last genuinely shady thing that Julian does on the Met Gala carpet was when the guy from Oscar de la Renta is like saying that they should model. When Julian snubs Luna, being like, oh no, she's not a model, she's just my stylist. Like, that was weird behavior. That was insanely weird behavior. And Luna finally clicked. She was like, you know what? I'm done with you. I'm going to do my own thing. And she becomes like this supermodel that's on every single ad. And it really felt like the amount that they're actually showing this ad, even after they talk about it, makes it seem like with those extra 30 minutes, we get to see more of Luna, or at least will build up to a bigger plot point for a potential season 3. And I'm just genuinely so mad because I have been begging for more Luna content, like more Luna development, and for Luna to finally step in and be an it girl. I was predicting that season 3 will be Luna's season because season 2 was meant to be Monet's season. They kind of snubbed her for that. Luna got 1 episode, and I was waiting for season 3 for Luna to take off and become an it girl, and she was going to become an it girl. We're not getting season 3 to see. That was a lot. But speaking about things I'm also mad at, I am so mad that Monet wasn't in the Rome scene. Like, I get they like explained her character away and the fact that like her mom wouldn't let her go, but I wanted Monet there. And I know that Savannah was there, like her actor was there, because she posted pictures of her being in Rome when they were filming, and I'm just like, why was she not there? Were those some of the scenes that were scrapped? Because if so, a snub, a real snub, and I won't forgive y'all for that. But another important part from the Rome ending that I feel like was definitely cut down for this finale was the scene between Julian and her aunt. Like, I really feel like it's weird that it was just Julian that went. And again, this might be me missing something or me forgetting something, but the fact that it was just Julian and that Julian was just asking for her and not for Zoya, because they share the same mom, like they have the same aunt. Like, that was weird to me. Like, I feel like they definitely cut out the part where Julian and the aunt met up at 9 at that little restaurant, because I feel like the finale, like the original finale, was going to end with whatever the aunt was going to say that was going to change everything. She was going to say that, and it'd be Julian's face just like, and that would be the end. That would be the cliffhanger. But that was scrapped, and I'm really sad about it because I want to know the tea, but we'll never know the tea, which is so sad. And speaking of missing tea, allegedly, more scenes from Zoya's new love interest were scrapped because we got introduced to him for a little bit at the very, very end. But allegedly they were supposed to get more of an introduction because he was going to be a part of season 3. But we're not getting that. And I'm so sad because the actor, fine, down. I was living for Zoya. Like, go ahead, Biz Girl, go ahead. There's actually one last thing that I thought was interesting and that I almost missed. I had to go on Twitter and see like people were saying if there's an after credit scene for this episode. And it's the fact that season 3 was going to make Gossip Girl global because Aki's dad was planning on making Gossip Girl an app and working with Jonathan, Kate's, I guess, ex. I don't know. They're going to make an app. They're going to make Gossip Girl an app for teenagers everywhere. And that would have been a messy, incredibly messy season 3. But now I guess we'll never see it. And that's a shame. So consider this me begging. Netflix, Hulu, Prime Video, Peacock, hell, Tubi, please pick up this show. We need it. I think one thing that I forgot to mention that's really important about the show and that I'm going to miss a lot is that this show's main characters are all people of color. We've never really seen shows with that amount of wealth and that amount of affluence with people of color, like Monet, Zoya, Julian, Shan, especially Shan. We don't get that representation that often, so the fact that we did get that and we got to see these luxe black girls is just so nice, and it's just so sad that we're going to be leaving that behind, not getting that again. Like, I'm going to sincerely miss Julian's long-winded and empty apologies and speeches, Monet's supreme dedication to serving quats any chance she gets, Luna's iconicness and unbothered behavior, Aki's face, Max's wild and unpredictable nature, Audrey's unjust, unwarranted, and honestly kind of problematic fury towards Zoya, and Zoya's commitment to never once wanting to be associated as a rich kid adjacent. And Kobe. May Gossip Girl the reboot rest in peace. It's been a great run. I've had fun watching, I've had fun enjoying, and I'm really excited to see what all the actors on this show go on and do next. But now I want to hear from you. What did you think about Gossip Girl season 2? What do you think about the news of it getting canceled? Do you miss it? What streaming service do you think it should go on if it does get a new one? I want to hear all your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching and supporting this video. Again, if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, follow me on my socials at imuRgency, and leave a like on this video. That helps out so much. And also a super thanks to everyone that goes above and beyond and supports me via channel memberships or by leaving a super thanks on this video. I really do appreciate that. Special shout out to Jasmine Bevan 770 and Ellen Showcroft 5266 for leaving a super thanks, and to my channel members listed here. But other than that, y'all, thanks again so much for watching. I've been imuRgency, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.